welcome everybody to Bases and Brews episode number 78. I am Ben, that is Brandon. This is our weekly podcast where we talk baseball, beer, every other sport, and many other drinks. How you doing this week?
I'm doing okay. I'm a bit tired.
Same.
The week's setting in. Well, I started my new job, so this is week 2 with only one day off.
Okay. Yeah, that'll wear on you,
Yeah, and the body's got to readjust.
right? Yeah, if you're not used to that, that can wear you down.
But how about
Uh,
yourself? How was your week?
Similar. I'm very tired. We've been super short staffed at work this week because like two guys who we work. I mean, there's only like 8 people that work there, and two of them are friends. They went on a backpacking trip together,
Well, that's
so we
brutal.
were down like a quarter of our staff.
Yeah,
so,
that makes things rough.
but yeah, so
What you got on
very
tap this week?
exhausted. But I am drinking from Texas Ale Project, the Texas Blood Orange IPA.
Is that is that one you've had before?
No.
Hmm.
I have had in a citrus IPA. I've had the Juice Force IPA from Voodoo Ranger.
Oh, maybe that's the one I'm
But
thinking of.
I've not had this one yet.
I had a few more
Is
left in the fridge, so I needed to clear them out. So I'm finishing off the last few of my Dragon's Milk White.
nice. I actually almost bought Dragon's Milk, but they
Oh,
didn't have the white, and I wanted to try it. They just had the bourbon barrel Dragon's Milk.
yeah, which is good, but I'm telling you, this is a just totally different experience.
I'll have to try to look around on see if they have it on their website where they sell it or something like that. Because yeah, I want to try it, but they only had the bourbon barrel
Just their
stout.
normal.
Yeah.
All right,
But,
let's
all right.
let's get into it.
Yeah. Let's get into the news. Let's start in the NFL where some crazy shit went down last week. And that was in the Saints versus Buccaneers game. Um, Mike Evans got suspended for a game because he came off the sideline and just laid out one of their cornerbacks because Tom Brady tried to start shit and couldn't finish it.
I thought, did you saw the extra video that they had, the other angle of the play,
Which one?
the one
The one
where
kind of like a wide angle from the sideline
no, I'm talking about the one that showed him as he was turning around, like what happens before he turns around.
before Brady turns around.
No, before Mike Evans turns around and runs back on the field.
Oh, where Tom Brady's like walking down the field. I don't know what you're.
Bruce Arians, so there's an angle where he's
Oh,
walking
okay.
back to the sidelines, and Bruce Arians basically, from what it looks like, basically tells him you're gonna leave him out there by himself, and then Mike Evans looks back and turns around and then just basically sprints it, dude.
Yeah, I know Mike Evans and I can't remember the guy's name, but they've had beef before. Like they've fought several times already, and so it's not like a new thing for them. But yeah, I thought the funniest part was that Tom Brady like clearly started this and then just walked away and let Mike Evans get suspended.
Oh, you know he bought Mike Evans something real nice.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And the
But
funny part is Mike Evans restructured his deal to
I saw that.
technically a league minimum this year. So instead of this game being missed, costing him like 870 some odd $1,000,000 or $1,000, it's only gonna cost him 67 grand.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, that's genius. So Tom
Yeah,
Brady's gonna go buy him a rollie and just be like, "Hey, bro, here you
dude,
go."
Tom Brady during that whole game was being a bitch. Did you see him like throwing the tablet and like yelling at his teammates like
But
grow up,
that's what
man?
he does.
I know, he's a dick.
Like there is a point where that fierce competitiveness that just lives in him. Like there is a line that you can cross, and he crosses it a lot. But because he wins so much, people just kind of look the other way.
Yeah, that's fair. Uh, moving on to your 49ers. Maybe good news, maybe bad news.
I personally think it's good news. Trey Lance broke his foot, I think it was.
Yeah, it was like some fracture in his foot.
Yeah. He had surgery on Monday. Seems like it all went fine, but it's going to be it for him for the year. So we got Jimmy Garoppolo. Imagine that.
I
Bro,
saw so many memes of like Shanahan did this shit on purpose. Just ran him up the middle at
I'm
180 pounds.
I mean, I don't know why in the world he would be having the quarterback basically running halfback draws
Yeah.
like up the middle. That's just dumb to me with all the bodies falling and flying right there. Like that's just dumb. If you're going to get your quarterback runs, you want him out in space.
Yeah. No, I
Typically.
agree.
So I don't know what he was doing there, but I think it's potentially good, but very bad for the 49ers.
Yeah. I think it's good for this year. But as far as his development goes, this obviously sets him back. There's no experience like in-game experience.
That's true. I'm looking at it from a slightly different angle. Is what happens if not Tom Brady? What happens if Garoppolo goes out and wins the Super Bowl this year? You're telling me you're not going to run it back?
Uh,
How do you
seems
not
like that's
run
what
it
the
back?
49ers are saying.
No, but I mean, like, right now that's what they're saying. But, like, once it happens, you have to go, well, shit, that just happened. Like, do we basically blow the team up and go with Trey Lance, or do we run it back where we've got a shot to win it again?
I, yeah.
Like,
I don't have an answer.
that's, I think, the problem that this arises. Because I do think with Jimmy Garoppolo, they have a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll get there, but like they've got a shot. I thought they had a shot with Trey Lance, and I don't think Trey Lance is the quarterback Garoppolo is at this moment. So of course I'm gonna think they're still gonna be there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do think Garoppolo is the better quarterback now. It's just yeah, I don't the NFC is so tough that it's gonna be real hard to come out of the NFC. So yeah, I mean, I think he gives you a better chance for this season, but it could end up hurting you in the long run.
Well, and especially if he's successful, which kind of sucks to say. Because like if he's
Right.
successful, it makes everything way more difficult.
You want the team to win, but Garoppolo to look bad in every game.
Honestly, kind of. That's essential. Oh, but I like Garoppolo. I've never really bashed
I do
Garoppolo
too.
much.
Garoppolo, not unlike Baker, got really kind of like just a switch flipped where everyone was so high on him, and then it was like he got hurt for a couple years, and everyone's like, he's trash.
No,
I'm
you
like,
know,
he's got one of the best records in football while he's been an active quarterback.
Niners fans just can't get over the fact that he missed a wide open player for a game sealing touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's literally the only reason that people hate him. That's the only reason. Only reason.
I know. And I get that, but like that stuff happens. Even to the best quarterbacks, they miss throws.
Yeah, but like every time you talk to someone and they're like, "Oh, Garoppolo, he just can't make the big throws, or else he would have hit that," and they always say that one play.
Yeah.
Always, it's it. No one takes into account that the defense gave up like, well, I think it was like 14 points in like 6 minutes or something like that. It was absurd to an extent.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your boy, real quick, since we're still talking football. Nick Chubb getting all the smoke, bro.
What the hell happened there? First off, it's ridiculous the Browns lost that game. But
I know it is. That's what I'm saying.
But-
Why of all people is Chubb getting the smoke?
no, I don't know. Well, because they're like, well, he should have gone down and run the clock out. And I'm like, you went up 2 touchdowns with 1:40 left. And you're telling me you didn't win the game and you're going to blame the guy who put you up 2 scores? Like, blame the defense who couldn't fucking stop Joe Flacco at 40 years old.
Joe Flacco is
Ridiculous.
having flashbacks.
I was so pissed. Man, I'm so glad they beat the Steelers last night because
yeah, because
they would have lost to the Steelers after that game to the Jets, there would have been so much. Well, there would have been issues in Cleveland.
Oh, I bet. No, but like the next day, I think it wasn't Monday, maybe it was Tuesday. I was looking at something and I saw a couple videos of like the talking heads talking about how Chubb should have gone down. He should have known better. The situation, this and that. He could have sealed the game. And then I look on Twitter and everyone's flaming him. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, how the man did his job. He scored the football. That's his job.
Fair, yes, had he gone down, we would have just taken a knee and won the game. I get that. But like, you can't blame him for going up 2 touchdowns with under 2 minutes.
I just couldn't believe it, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was bad. But all right, let's go move on. One more NFL story. First time Hall of Fame ballot or Hall of Fame nominees were announced. Starting off, we got Joe Thomas out of Cleveland, offensive lineman. I think that's a no question first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think it's even close for Joe Thomas.
I'm not gonna argue that. I don't
even think that's bias. I just Darrelle Revis played for the Jets, Dolphins.
He was known for his play on the Jets more than anywhere.
I think Darrelle Revis is probably a first ballot. He was the corner in the NFL for probably 5 years straight.
There's only a couple corners that are household names in all of football, and he's one of them. I wouldn't surprise me if he's a first ballot.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer, but first ballot, I think he's probably in there, but we'll see. Dwight Freeney, most notably from Indy. I don't think there's any question. Yeah. Dwight Freeney is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
100%. I would say so. I don't know how many of these guys can get in on the first ballot.
I don't know enough about the NFL voting system.
I'm just gonna say the ones I think are, and they all should get in. I don't care what the rules are. It's ridiculous if they can't.
I mean, I don't think all the guys on this list are first ballot Hall of Famers, though.
I don't either.
But I think definitely Joe Thomas and Dwight Freeney. Darrelle Revis is probably. This one I don't think. Chris Johnson, most notably with Tennessee. He was one of the best running backs, but only for like 3-4 years.
I was gonna say it was really short though.
He was so fun to watch though. He was one of those speed guys who just if you were even with him, you already lost. Like he's already passed you. But yeah, I think he's borderline even making the Hall of Fame, let alone first ballot.
I'd have to really look at his numbers to see, because he was one of the guys for a stretch, and anymore it's proving hard to be that guy for more than like a year anymore.
Yeah, unless you're one of the elites like Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry.
Nick Chubb is criminally underrated.
Dude, when everyone talks about the top running backs, like every time I see it, they always have him like 4th or 5th, and I'm like, do you watch football? Because like this dude for 4 straight years has been 1st or 2nd in rushing.
Yeah,
like I would at most argue he's 2nd.
He single-handedly carried me to a championship his rookie year, so he's been like my first favorite Browns player that I can think of that has been a Brown, not that just played for the Browns.
Right. So just to throw it out there, Chris Johnson, he had 6 straight years over 1,000 yards. His first 6 years in the league. and one of those was over 2,000 yards. And that's all just rushing, no receiving.
How many?
55 touchdowns in 9 years. So that's
I
pretty
mean,
damn good.
I'd say he's probably a Hall of Famer. I probably wouldn't put him as a fringe, but definitely not first ballot. I don't think.
Yeah.
Although 6 over 1,000 is crazy.
6 straight to
Yeah,
start his career.
that's crazy.
But Jabari Evans, I don't know, to be fair.
That
He's an
name,
offensive lineman.
I mean, that tells you all you need to know right there.
Yeah.
I'm not super versed on offensive and defensive linemen unless
I mean, the only reason I know Joe Thomas is, one, he was a Brown, and two, he's all over NFL talk shows. Jabari Evans played with the Packers and the Saints. He pretty much only played for the Saints. He played for the Packers his last season, but he played for the Saints for 11 years. 6 Pro Bowls in 11 years. All pro first team 4 years. So, and he won a Super Bowl with the Packers his last year, I guess.
Hey.
Um,
Yeah, that's not a name
yeah.
I'm super familiar with either. Although
Yeah.
this next name I am very familiar with,
Well, I would hope so.
and that is Navarro Bowman, who is 100% a Hall of Famer. I would say, I don't know if I would go first ballot though. I love my dude, and I think he was borderline a first ballot. His career was incredible when it was him and Takeo Spikes and those guys up the.
Oh yeah. I think the fact that he cut his career a little short hurts him to make him not a first ballot.
Yeah.
I still think he's a Hall of Famer, but because his total numbers aren't as high as some other guys, I think that'll make him.
But in his prime, he was one of the top 3 linebackers in the league every year for probably a solid 5-6 years.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
The next guy you saw a lot of.
I did. James Harrison. I think his whole career was with the Steelers.
I don't think he played anywhere else.
I don't think there's any question. I think he's one of those guys that should probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I wouldn't disagree with you on that one.
Played I guess his last year he got traded to the Patriots halfway through the year.
That's interesting.
And he played 1 year in Cincinnati in the middle of his time in Pittsburgh. I guess he just signed a 1-year deal with Cincinnati and then was like, nah, I'm going back.
You're like, never mind. I don't like this place. Yeah,
played 16 years. 84 and a half sacks.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I don't think there's any question. I think he's a first ballot.
I love James Harrison personally, so I'm okay. I'm good with it.
I don't, but I respect him. Next one, Cam Chancellor, a guy you saw a lot of.
I think he's for sure a Hall of Famer. I don't know if I'd go first ballot though.
Yeah, he was a I mean, not to take anything away from Cam Chancellor, but he was a product of that system and the Legion of Boom that they had.
I mean, but to be fair, he was arguably one of the key pieces.
Oh yeah.
To that,
and I believe he was there before, Richard Sherman and all those guys too.
Like they
Like he
built
was the
that
one who was.
defense around
Yeah.
that. Like, and the reason I say he's pretty much for sure a Hall of Famer is he's part of one of the most ferocious defenses that the league has ever seen.
I wouldn't be surprised if. I mean, I think he'll get in. I think Richard Sherman will definitely get in.
I think so too.
Um,
I don't think Sherman's a first ballot though. He would probably disagree.
well, yeah. I, I don't know.
I think
It's
he's
hard to say.
borderline, but I don't think he's a first
I
ballot.
think he's right with Cam Chancellor, where like if he goes first ballot, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he's first ballot.
But he's for sure a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh,
Although,
definitely.
I mean, to be real, if you get in, does it fucking matter if it's year
No.
one or year whatever?
No, it's like, just a bragging rights.
That's
yeah. But yeah, no. If you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. Like you're not gonna get hung up on the when did you get in?
But, right. Like they care about that.
Right. And then the last one is Shane Leckler, the punter, who I believe played for the Colts. No.
Shane Leckler played, I think, for the Bears at one point.
He only played for 2 teams, and you should know one of them. It's not the 49ers.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's not the 49ers. I know the... No, it wasn't Arizona.
Closer to home.
I don't know.
Not closer to home anymore? Is that?
Oh, the Raiders?
Yeah. He punted for the Raiders his first 13 years in the league.
I was going to say, I know the name, but I can't remember who he played for.
And then he went to Houston for the last 5 years.
Yeah, this is who made it over Pat McAfee. Travesty.
Well, to be fair, Pat McAfee was famous because of his hits, not because he was a great punter.
I would disagree with that because he was one hell of a punter. But
not to say that he was a bad punter, but like I think Pat McAfee will get in mostly because of his name, but
I honestly don't disagree with that one. Because I genuinely don't know if if you looked at his numbers, if they would be, because he had a really short career comparatively.
That's because he ran down the field and tried to hit people.
No, he didn't try. He did.
Fair. Let's see. Pat McAfee only was a punter for
it was like
7 seasons.
I was gonna say 7 or 8 seasons.
He only made 2 Pro Bowls. Apparently he kicked off.
Did he? He probably didn't. I don't know if he did it that much.
A lot.
Really?
Like his lowest kickoff was 63. Like that's the fewest number he had in a season.
Okay, so he was.
But most of them are in the 80s.
Okay, that's.
So he kicked off like every time. But punting, yards per punt in the 40s.
It's not bad. As long as that's
get, like,
the net, not the
inside the 20 or something like that, but I don't see any.
Yeah, kicker stats are really weird. It's hard to look at and know what you want to look at.
Right, especially for punting.
But yeah, I think Shane Leckler probably gets in. I don't know if I'd say first ballot.
It's hard for me to imagine a first ballot punter.
I was going to say, hot take, I don't know if any kicker or punter should be a first ballot. Well, okay.
I disagree on kicker. Punter, I don't think.
Okay, that's fair.
Kickers score points.
That's fair.
Like
that's
when
fair.
Sebastian Janikowski is eligible, he'll be a first ballot kicker. If he's not.
If he ever retires and stops playing.
He retired.
Yeah, but like a year or 2 ago. Dude played like 20 plus years.
18 years, and he retired in 2018. So he's actually eligible next year.
So he's actually getting there.
a 2017 geyser. The guy's getting in this year.
Let's go. Okay, so maybe it was a little longer than I thought. Seabass. That was his nickname.
Yeah. Yep. He he was a guy.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Moving on to the NBA. The Suns owner is in some hot water.
Has
um,
been.
yeah, I can't remember if this was on last week if we talked about this or if this was on like Sunday it came out. But basically he was accused of multiple things, including sexual harassment of female employees and some other things. But during the week, it was. Oh, we did talk about this last week
Yes.
because we talked about whether he would have to sell the team. But
Yes, well, because we talked about his suspension being kind of eh.
yeah,
And the fact that, like, it really wouldn't change anything.
right. But yeah. So now it's come out that he is going to be selling the team, kind of forced by uh, what's his name, Sterling, the
Yes.
NBA commissioner, and the other owners are kind of forcing him out, which good. Um, Definitely should be forced out, so not upset about it. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that was the news this week. The update on that story was he is going to be selling the team. Um,
I mean,
Kind of forced, but
I was gonna say they once the reaction to his punishment came down and the way everyone talked about it, there was no way he wasn't losing his team at that point.
well, it was that mixed with. I mean, let's be real. It was that mixed with the fact that a bunch of sponsors were like, "Yeah, we're not going to sponsor the NBA or the Suns if he's still there."
And I almost guarantee you the players would have done the same, just like they did with Sterling.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
So like he was done once this all came down.
Yeah, but yeah.
I mean,
See,
not that it's necessarily a bad thing. So
no, but all right. Let's get to some baseball stuff. Um, David Price announced he will be retiring at the end of the year. He might actually be retiring now because I think he's hurt. Um,
I can't remember. He pitched earlier this year, but I can't remember the last time I heard of about him pitching.
I'm very confused.
About what?
So there's multiple articles that say that David Price is set to retire after the 2022 season. But then there's one article from the LA Times that says Dodgers David Price isn't quite ready to say he's retiring after the season. And all of those articles came out on the same day.
Good old gotta be first to report, right?
Well, there's like 5 articles that said he's retiring. But
I would.
yeah, I mean,
it's tough. Believe
Price,
the one that has the most.
Yeah.
If there are more
David
articles
Price
saying he's retiring, he's retiring. If there's more saying he's staying, he's staying.
He's been in the league 15 years. He's been super injury prone the last whatever
5
4 or 5.
Yeah.
He had 1 year where he in 2018 where he made, a normal amount of starts, but every other year it's been shortened.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, back in the day, David Price was one of the best.
He was fun to watch.
Now he's a bullpen guy and not really much to, speak about.
Yeah. But speaking of the Dodgers,
start. Yep.
I hate to be the guy that has to bring this up, but the Dodgers are going to set a new single season win record for their franchise this year.
I thought you were gonna say overall, and I'm like, I don't think there's enough games for
They
them to
have
mathematically get
12
that.
games left. They are, but they'd have to like win out.
Yeah.
But they're already at 104, and their team record is what they hit last year at 106.
Okay. So they're
So
gonna set it back to back years essentially.
it's basically they're gonna set it back to well, last one they didn't set. Last year they tied their record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, that's setting it.
I'd go with the same. But yeah. So they're for sure though gonna beat that because there's like 12 games left for them and they need 3 wins.
They have, yeah, exactly 12 games left. So yeah. Yeah, it would be amazing if they did not get it.
That would be insane.
They haven't been playing. I mean, they're still playing great, but they haven't been playing as good as they were over the last like 2 months.
I mean, that's true.
Honestly, we'll get to it in a minute, but there's a lot of teams that are going to be in the playoffs who are going into the playoffs struggling right now.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see the playoffs this year.
Let's go Cleveland. Cleveland's going in on fire.
They're going in hot.
All right, Max Scherzer got his 200th career win in a game that clinched the playoffs for the Mets. 200 is a lot of wins, but he has been around for quite a while. And actually, when this came out, I was actually surprised he wasn't already there.
Well, yeah, he's pitched for 19 years, I think.
15.
Is it 15? I thought he was.
This is his 15th year.
I thought it
but
was
he's 38.
Way more for him.
Yeah. Well, his first couple years, he wasn't really. He really wasn't, Max Scherzer until was like 5th year.
Yeah, but even at 200 wins, how many modern pitchers do you think are gonna get up to 200 wins?
It's hard to say because a lot of modern pitchers don't even get decisions because they only go like 4 2/3.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
Like 200 wins is like the new 300.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay, but maybe it's not that hard because getting to 300 wins was like a huge thing.
Yeah, I don't even know the last guy to get 300 wins.
If I'm not mistaken, hold on.
I'm trying to find it.
I'm pretty sure it was Randy Johnson. Pretty sure. Yes, he has 303 wins.
Yeah, he was the most recent.
The reason I was pretty confident in that is because he got win number 300 in a Giants uniform.
Oh, that's funny. the team he only pitched like one season for.
Yeah. Well, it was his last hurrah, basically. But yeah.
Yeah.
That I don't think we'll ever see another modern pitcher get to 300 wins.
To be fair, looking at it, like Greg Maddux got his 300th with the Cubs. Tom Glavine got his 300th with the Mets.
Well, you got to think Randy Johnson pitched for 22 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you give Max Scherzer, 7 more years? I think he could probably get to 250, maybe.
So did Tom Glavine. Greg Maddux pitched for 23. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely, that's a longevity stat as much as it's a, domination stat.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of, like, how good you were for a long period of time.
Right. There's nobody on the 300 win list who wasn't a great pitcher.
Yeah, an all-time great.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's that many people that have gotten over 300 wins. Maybe, 20, 30 people? Tops? I don't know. Maybe it's more than I think. But
It's not. 24 pitchers?
Yeah.
and there was one guy apparently who got the 297. That sucks.
That
I
would.
would have pitched another year. Even if you're terrible, you'll get 3 wins. Come on.
Yeah, but you gotta have a team that's willing to put up with your dumbass.
I'll be like, look, I'm not gonna be great, but I'm gonna retire as soon as I get those 3 wins. So like, you don't have to put up with me for very long.
That's funny.
But but yeah,
But good for Max Scherzer. I'm happy for him.
I've never really had anything against Max Scherzer except that he pitched in Detroit.
See, I was okay with it.
Speaking of big milestones, Aaron Judge finally gets to number 60. Let me double check this before I say this because it might have changed since I put this on here.
What did he got 61?
No, that
Oh.
I would have gotten many notifications on my phone if he hit 61. No, that he was leading the Triple Crown. Let's see. American League. Obviously, he's got home runs. He's winning by 23.
That's insane to me.
He's winning by 20 for all of baseball. Also, apparently, Jose Ramirez just hit a home run because that just went down to 22.
It's just funny to me though that like a good season for like a good like moderately powered hitter is the difference between Aaron Judge and the next hitter.
Honestly, yeah. He's 11 up on RBIs and batting average.
He was like .02 up on Bogarts the other day. I think it was yesterday.
I mean, I don't know. This only goes to 3 decimal points, but he's up by 0.001. He's at 315. Bogart's at 314. Oof. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it multiple times. I think he's a lock. I think he was already a lock for the MVP. Now I don't think there's a question.
I don't think he was a lock before, but getting to 60, I think basically he walked up with the key and made sure no one else was coming through.
Yeah. And if he gets the Triple Crown, then there's really no question.
Oh, yeah. Like, Shohei Ohtani's great, but, like, the Triple Crown only happens once every blue moon.
Well, yeah. The last time was 10 years ago. But for Miguel Cabrera. And what's crazy to me is that no one's even been leading in the Triple Crown in this late in the year since Miguel Cabrera won it.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually you think you fall off on one of the categories.
True.
Which is probably why I would be curious to see what the numbers would look like for people leading 2 out of the 3 categories. Because I bet it's pretty high.
Yeah, I bet that's more common. Especially if you're like leading home runs, it's not uncommon for you to be leading in RBIs too. Yeah.
But have a lower batting average.
Well, right. Because most home run hitters aren't hitting for average.
This number was thrown out this week, and it blew my mind. Do you know what the average batting average is this season?
Probably in the 240s to 250s.
I think it was 242, 246.
That's about what I would have thought. It's terrible.
Insanely bad.
Yeah.
Like that was it blew my mind that it's that bad.
You want to know what's crazy? Unrelated to that, but something I was just looking at. Like, I think 2 weeks ago we were talking about Paul Goldschmidt potentially winning the Triple Crown in the NL. Paul Goldschmidt is currently 5 back in home runs, 9 back in RBIs, and cool 7 back in average. 7 points back. So, like, it's not impossible, but he would have to go on a ridiculous tear.
Yeah. Do you think Judge gets the new American League record.
Yeah. Well,
It's like
I think
what,
he at
two,
least
three home
ties it.
runs.
He needs two. 61 is the American League record.
So
Um,
I think he gets two in the next 10 games. I
maybe.
almost feel like that's
I
impossible for him not to do.
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. I mean, the statistics would say you're right. I don't know.
that would be nuts if he got stuck at 60. That
What
would be
if the
crazy.
Yankees were playing the Cardinals and Aaron Judge got the 62 the same time Albert Pujols got the 700 the same game?
That can't happen, but that would be nuts.
No. No, I'm sure they're not playing this late in the year, but it would be cool.
But the Yankees are ending the season with two bad teams.
Okay.
They're ending it with the Rangers and, well, I mean, the Orioles aren't a bad team.
Yeah. They've fallen off a little
Not
bit, but
not
no,
this
they're not a
year.
bad team.
Um, so like the
Which,
last, what's
thank
that, one,
God.
two, three, four, the last 7 games of the season are against those two teams.
Yeah.
I think it's almost like for sure he's gonna get it.
I don't know. I
It's gonna be
I
tough.
kind of I kind of hope he does, but I don't know.
We'll see where that ends up. I, I
Yeah.
I think he gets it. I think it's almost impossible for him not to.
You think Pujols gets to 700 still?
I think there's enough games left for him to do it because I think he'll get enough at bats, but I don't know. Like, he went on a tear, I think it was a week or two ago, where he hit like 4 home runs in a matter of a week. So, like, it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are going to pitch to him too much because, nobody wants to be on the losing end of all-time records. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not all-time records because it's not a record, but big milestones.
Yeah. That's I always hate that.
So I don't know. I think he can. I hope he does. I'd rather see him get to 700 than Judge get to 62.
I agree with that. I would, yeah, because Judge is gonna continue to play and do great things, but yeah, Pujols is done. I want to see him get there.
Yeah. And I don't want him to end like A-Rod, like just a couple short.
Right. At least he passed A Rod.
Thank God.
Right.
A-Rod's is that guy that is really smart when he talks about baseball, like very, very
Oh,
fucking smart.
yeah.
But he's just
Yeah.
got a face you just want to punch.
What's funny is that you said that about multiple people.
There's a few of them that I think that about. Steve Nash is the other one I bring up all the time.
I know. That's funny. All right. Let's see where we at. The Royals fired their president of baseball operations, Dayton Moore. He's been there for a while, and they haven't really done anything. They haven't been good since they went to the World Series 2014, 15. I'm trying to remember when they went.
It was. I don't think it was against the Giants. Giants.
No, it wasn't.
Giants.
They won.
So it would have been 2014 if it was right around that. No?
They went in 2014 and 15. I don't remember which year they won, though. They only won one of those.
Either way, it's been almost 10 years.
trying to find it. 2015 they won.
So it's been
They
7 years.
beat the Mets.
Tell me a big surprise.
Yeah.
The Mets can't help themselves.
Yeah. But
Not too surprising, to be honest.
no, it's one of those moves that, like, is it his fault? Probably not, but somebody's got to be the scapegoat.
I mean, they're almost 30 games under 500.
Yeah. There, people thought they might be decent this year too. I mean, no one thought they'd win the division or anything, but like they thought they were going to start to improve, and they have really not. If anything, they might have gone backwards.
That's true.
This one just happened today. Julio Rodriguez, probable rookie of the year for the AL, went on the IL, 10-day IL with a lower back strain. That is interesting because Seattle is fighting for their wild card lives. They're probably in, but they only have a 3.5 game lead over Baltimore, and they just lost probably their best player for pretty much the rest of the year.
Yeah, basically until the playoffs would be starting.
Right. Now, I don't know who Seattle is playing.
Let's see. No, oh, they're fine. They're fine.
A's.
The rest of the season, they have 2 games against the Royals, 2 more. They have 3 games against the Rangers. They have 3 games against the A's. And then they have 4 games against Detroit.
Okay. That's a pretty easy schedule, but
it doesn't get easier than that.
Hold on. The Royals played a 4-game, or the Mariners played a 4-game series against Oakland this week, and they only won one of those games. I'm just saying. They went 1-3 against the A's this week. Your A has had a winning week this week.
That's funny, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Too little, too late.
Right. Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah, pretty much everyone else is out. But man, as much as I don't want to see Seattle get knocked out, whoever wins that last spot is who Cleveland's playing. And God, I'd much rather see Baltimore than Seattle. Like, not even close.
Oh, I knew it was going to come out. I knew the homer was going to come out at some point.
Well, and I mean,
I would be in your same shoes. I would rather play the Orioles than the Mariners.
The Mariners,
Healthy.
The last 2 series we played them, stomped us. So, yeah.
That's so funny.
The last thing literally just happened. Just got the notification like 10 minutes ago. Shohei Ohtani hit his 200th career strikeout for the season. That's a lot of strikeouts for the season. I don't think he's the Cy Young. I don't think he's really even in the top 5 for Cy Young, but he's still pitched really well this year.
I mean, that's fair.
Okay. Let's get into where we're at in the playoffs right now. As far as the divisions go, they're pretty much all finished except for the AL Central and the NL East. And really the Central is pretty much finished too. Cleveland pretty much knocked out the Twins and the White Sox this week. You know what's crazy? Literally a week ago, the Twins were I think 3 out, and the White Sox were 3.5 out behind Cleveland.
Time
And now the
flies.
Twins are 10 games out, and the White Sox are 7.
Yeah, it
Like,
was not a good week for any team that wasn't Cleveland in the AL Central.
uh, it's been a great 2 weeks for Cleveland. They have the best record in baseball for back-to-back weeks. Unfortunately, I couldn't pick them, or I would have picked them last week too.
Thank God.
um, but yeah, so Cleveland pretty much is clinched. Um, as far as the standings, they're not going to catch the Yankees. Houston pretty much clinched the number 1 seed. Um, Yankees will be the 2 seed. Cleveland will be the 3. And then right now in the AL, the wild card is Toronto, Tampa, and Seattle. Um, as we just talked about, Baltimore 3.5 out is the only team really in contention in the American League on the bubble. And also, the Blue Jays are only a game and a half up on Seattle, and Tampa's only a half game. So, like, if any one of those teams falters, Baltimore could make up that ground.
Right.
So, yeah, the AL wild card's interesting as far as seeding goes, but pretty much locked up. When it goes to the NL, the Dodgers have, I think, already. No, they haven't officially clinched the number 1 seed, but they're very close.
I mean, yeah, I mean, technically not, but they have. Like, let's be
They
real.
have a 9-game lead over the, or 8.5 games over the Mets with 12 games left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much clinched. The Mets are currently the number 2 seed. The Cardinals are the 3rd seed, and then in the wild card, Atlanta has already clinched a playoff spot. And then you have the Padres and the Phillies. Padres are a half game up on the Phillies. Milwaukee, 2.5 games out, is really the only team. I mean, it's pretty close to being the only team not mathematically eliminated.
Yeah, most teams I think will be mathematically eliminated by like Tuesday next week.
The only team in the NL not mathematically eliminated is your Giants. They're holding on there. 9.5 out with 12 to go.
They're not winning out because that's literally what they would have to do.
Yeah, and need a lot of help.
And hope for a lot of losses.
The interesting thing here is the Mets have a game and a half lead over Atlanta for the AL East or NL East. So it's really going to be who gets that bye and who has to play the wild card series.
Will be interesting.
That's a big advantage to have that.
Could you imagine?
Probably close to a week-long bye.
Could you imagine if the Mets don't win that division? With how big of a lead they had?
Now, to be fair, Atlanta went on what? It was like a 17-game win streak or something like that.
I don't care.
But, yeah, no. The Mets have collapsed. I say
as they do.
Collapsed. They're still at 95 wins. So, like.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's true. You can't really. They are the second best team in the entire National League.
Yeah, they're the 3rd best team in all of baseball.
Yeah. At least record-wise.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
We'll see what happens when they get into the playoffs. We'll see how far they go. Although their pitching rotation, I bet they go pretty far.
It's scary.
It's just they're going to be.
DeGrom doesn't go down, and honestly, Scherzer's been very much like DeGrom this year. He's been on and off, but
if they're both hitting, they're going to be disgusting in the playoffs.
Yeah,
just for that reason alone. So with teams
Yeah.
in, who do you think you got? You still holding strong
With Cleveland?
on your teams that you think we're gonna make it? Do you remember?
No. Who did I say?
Well, no, didn't we? We had the Blue Jays and the Dodgers in. Blue Jays,
Oh, in the World
yeah, yeah,
Series?
yeah, like actually getting through.
Um, I mean, I don't trust the Blue Jays anymore. I wanted them to be
Facts.
so much better this year.
I
Like,
mean, they're
they're still
still,
not bad,
yeah,
but
they're still good, but not what I was hoping either. They're the third best team in the American League. Yeah,
by a game over Cleveland.
yeah, just barely.
What's funny is like a week ago, people were making fun of the AL Central because it's like the third best team in the AL East would have been winning the AL Central, and now it's like, yeah, Cleveland's gonna get. Cleveland's been on such a good run the last 2 weeks that it's like we're gonna pass all those teams except the Yankees. Hopefully, barring any meltdown here at the end. But
Yeah, I was gonna say don't jinx your team.
I
Not
mean,
yet.
they've pretty much clinched, so I'm not worried about that. And because the only way we were getting in was winning the division, that's pretty much set. Um, but yeah, do you think either of the bubble teams can get into the wild card? That'd be the Brewers or the Orioles.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't. I just don't. I just don't see it. The teams that they're chasing aren't playing terrible for the most part. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
essentially at this point, that's kind of what you have to have happen. You know, where you're down
right.
by like
Yeah,
three
you
or four
obviously need.
games. Like
Yeah,
the
you need help.
the team that you're chasing has to keep losing because if you guys win at the same pace, you're still screwed.
Right.
So like they need some help, and the teams that they're chasing, I just don't feel like are gonna fall off enough. Maybe they'll get a little closer. Maybe they make it, a real tight like half game or 1 game race. But I don't see either one of them overcoming.
If I were to pick one, I think Milwaukee has the better shot because one, they have one less game to make up, and two, the Phillies are playing worse than any of the American League uh, wild card teams.
I would agree with that.
So yeah,
I
I
would
mean,
definitely
making up
agree with
two and a
that.
half games is still a significant amount this late in the year, but I it's unlikely, but not impossible.
Yeah, with 10 to 12 games left, anything over a couple games is going to be pretty rough.
Yeah,
Because that'll mean like if they have 4 more series left, which they probably won't, or probably about 4 series, depending on the
yeah,
game splits.
two and a half,
Yeah,
or yeah,
three or
two,
four.
four.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would mean they would have to bomb 2 out of the best, almost half or more than half of what they've got left. I just don't know if I see that happening.
yeah,
Uh,
it'd be tough.
it would be a real fun thing to watch, though. So I hope they make it a race, but I just don't know if they. I think
Yeah,
it's a little too late to actually run anybody down at this point.
if that's the case, then the only real race is Atlanta and New York, the Mets,
Yes.
because everything else is pretty much set, and not mathematically, but pretty much set.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. And
I
I
do,
would love to
man.
see the Braves take the Mets, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Just because
I
it's
would
the
too.
Mets.
But I also like it. Kind of sucks because I in the American League I want Baltimore to get in, but I don't really want any of the other wild card teams to fall out. Like I like all three of the wild card teams. I guess selfishly I want Baltimore in over Seattle, but like Seattle hasn't been to the playoffs in 20 seasons. Like they deserve it.
I mean, right? And they're young. They're not going to know how to handle the moments.
Yeah.
Oh, then again, don't get much younger than Cleveland at the moment.
No. by far the youngest. Not even close.
So I don't
But
know. Maybe
yeah,
that's an
that's
advantage.
we were talking for a minute before stream, and I was like, yeah, even if Cleveland doesn't really go anywhere in the playoffs, I'm still getting major league experience or playoff experience for a team this young is huge. Because like all of our guys are pretty much set on the roster for the next like 5 years. Like there's maybe like one or two guys who could leave, but
Ain't that
pretty
very
much
nice?
everyone's locked up. But yeah, chance to be real good for a decent number of years if the rookies don't, regress in the second season. Because
Which
we're
hap-
very heavy reliant on rookies this year.
No, but then you just bring the rookies up next year,
I mean, honestly, that's what Cleveland does.
and then they carry the team next year.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, let's get into the
Yeah,
verses.
let me see if any games finished.
I don't think so.
Cubs, Pirates, Nationals, Marlins.
Oh, you're talking
Those
just
ones
in
don't
general.
matter. Brewers and Reds don't matter. Orioles beat the Astros tonight. Nice.
Anytime the Astros lose is a good thing.
The Astros are struggling going in. I mean, as much as the Astros struggle, but they went 4-3 this week. Good thing you didn't pick them this week.
I know, right?
Let's see. Yankees beat the Red Sox. That one doesn't really matter.
The Yankees had a pretty good week.
They did. They went 5-1 this week. All right. So yeah. So this week I picked the Mariners. You picked the Dodgers. You almost. Well, no.
I was close to the best team of the week.
You were close, but there was multiple teams with only one loss. Cleveland ends with the best record of the week for the second week in a row. They went 6-1. Yankees went 5-1. Kansas City went 4-1. The Mets went 4-1. Padres went 4-1. Worst teams of the week: Pittsburgh went 0-5. But yeah, neither of ours panned out or needed. Neither of ours were done, so doesn't affect us at all. You win the week. You went 5-2 this week with the Dodgers. I went where are they? 2-4 with the Mariners. They really had a bad week
Yeah, they struggled
against
this
some
week.
really easy teams. So we are tied for the month. As far as the points go, I am 11-7 on the month. You are, what were you, 15-4. Damn.
Yeah,
Good month.
it's been a good month for me. And I'm still only tied with you because you fucking the 1 week you win, you got best team.
Yeah. For the month, or for the year, I'm sorry, I have a 5-point lead on you for the scoreboard, but that's only a tiebreaker. I am 87-53, and you are 78-63. Narrowed that gap
It's only
quite a
like
bit this week.
it's only like 9.5 games now, not 12.
I mean, look, if you pick up 3 to 4 games a week.
No, because there's only 2 weeks left of the season. I'm pretty much lost. I'd have to have like
But
a
you can
six and
make
zero
it
week.
close.
That would be
You
the
can
only
make it
way.
close.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can make it close, but at this point, I'm almost mathematically eliminated myself.
Yeah, you need to pick somebody with a lot of games.
I do,
Um,
but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
yeah. We will have 2 more weeks Well, do you just want to? Let's see.
The fifth is the
Do you
last
just want?
game.
Do you just want to have? I mean, I guess that means that we're gonna have both of the next. We'll have the remainder of the season on this month because the player of the month won't be announced until after next week's podcast. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
following
So we
week
might
would
as well
count.
just from here on out. It's just one last run till the end.
Yeah. Um, so that means that our player of the month picks are going to be the final. I have Jose Ramirez. You have Manny Machado.
Yeah, Manny
Jose
Machado.
Ramirez is not going to win it.
Neither is Manny Machado, if I'm not mistaken. He's not had a bad year, but I don't think he's playing like particularly well right now.
Yeah.
Although I could be
Jose
wrong.
is in the slump, and we're still winning without him, which is great. Because if he can get going before the playoffs, that's going to be huge. But all right, so we need your team for the week.
No, it's your you get to pick first
Oh, I get the pick first.
because you lost. Ha!
I'm
See,
not
you got
used to
so used to winning.
I did. I had a run of like 5 weeks in a row, I think. Um, I ooh. So this week goes through the 30th. Oh man,
That's tough.
I want to pick Cleveland because they're just rolling, but like they got 3 against the Rays. Oh man. Um, let's see. Who's fighting? Who are the Orioles playing? Ooh, Houston, Boston, New York. Nope. I don't trust you that much. That sucks for them trying to make up ground in the wild card. Um, if this team doesn't have a favorable schedule, then I'm. Oh man. All right, screw it.
Who
I'm picking Cleveland.
you gonna pick Cleveland again?
I was looking at another team and it's pretty similar to Cleveland, and I'm just gonna roll with my team.
Does that team happen to be an American League team?
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, you and I have talked about this. We go about this different ways. You look at the teams that are good, and I look at like I always search the Pirates and the Reds
I
and the
always look for
Royals,
teams
and
that
I
are
see who
hot.
they're playing. See, I always search the worst teams and see who they're playing, and then I click on those teams and see if the rest of their schedules is good.
Yeah, no. I was originally thinking I would go with the Yankees, but I don't know if I want to be rooting against the Blue Jays, even though I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to win a whole lot of those games.
Yeah. It's hard to because like a lot of the final series are against division rivals. Like almost everybody's playing division games at the end of the year here.
That's
So
true.
it's like it's hard to pick. It's like you never know.
All right. I I think I'm going to go with the Braves.
That was the team I was looking at.
Was it? I think
But
that's
I was like, they're close to the same difficulty as Cleveland. Because Cleveland's got that one series against the Rays. The Braves are playing the Phillies and then one against the Mets.
yeah, if the Blue Jays series and the Orioles series was switched for the Yankees, I would 100% do that. But I don't
Yeah.
I don't want to be rooting against the Blue Jays.
I want to be honest. A team I would have considered had I seen it is the Giants. They got the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and the Diamondbacks.
Don't
I
care.
would have considered it. They haven't been playing terrible the
Don't
last couple weeks.
I said like I think it was like a month and a half ago I wasn't picking them for the rest of the season, and I'm sticking with that. They
Beautiful
broke my
time of
heart too
baseball.
long ago, and we'll see how I feel next year about picking them back up.
You'll be back.
Yeah,
It's your
when
team. You'll be back.
when they get Aaron Judge.
Did you see? I didn't put that in here. Did you see the comments from their GM?
Who, the Giants?
Yeah,
No.
it was something along the lines of like, we know we need to get better, and then he talked about like he knew about the free agents that are going to be out there, and then he was like, there's also this dude out in New York that might be available. Just getting the hopes up. Just get them up.
What have I been telling you like this
I
whole
know.
time? This
I
is
know.
what they do.
That's
They
why
they
it's funny.
they build the hype, and then just miraculously they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just happens. I mean, I don't really know what to say.
I wanna I wanna throw out there. Everyone's talking about Julio Rodriguez for rookie of the year. And then there's somebody else in American League. And I feel like nobody is giving Stephen Kwan any respect. And this dude has been the best hitter out of any rookie in all of baseball this year. He just doesn't hit for power.
That's the problem.
I know, but it's so dumb. He's been batting over 300 almost the entire season.
For a rookie, that's pretty nut. Well, yes and no, because they don't have a lot of film on what your weaknesses are yet. So you are kind of like the unknown product. But at the same time, it's still pretty impressive.
He's leading all of baseball in triples. He's batting, he's at 297 right now. 5 home runs, 44 RBIs out of a leadoff guy who's not going to hit for power, 17 stolen bases, the lowest strikeout rate in all of baseball. I'm just saying. He has more walks than strikeouts. Like, nobody does that in modern baseball.
I mean, I ain't fighting with you.
I know. I'm fighting with everybody else. I know you're not, but
I
because you appreciate players who play like that.
yeah. That's what always kills me is everyone. The first thing they look at for a hitter is how many home runs does he have? How many RBIs does he have? Then you get to the batting average. Batting average should be first. Getting on base should be the most important thing.
Well, and I do think with the research or with the shift ban, I think you'll see a resurgence. Excuse me. You'll see a resurgence of batting average going back up, obviously, but
But it's artificial.
I know, but also when like tons of players were hitting over 300, nobody was shifting on them.
It's because they couldn't, because they could actually hit.
Well, yeah,
Because to my knowledge, there hasn't been a rule change that made that available.
no, just nobody did it
Just
because it was an unwritten rule back in the day.
I don't know if I go that far.
It was when I can't even remember who it was, but people started doing it against Barry Bonds, and everybody was like, "You don't do that. Like that's not okay. You can't shift." But it was a huge deal. Everyone made a huge deal about it,
Stupid.
and now everybody does it to every single hitter.
I hate it. I'm glad it's
Well,
going
yeah,
away, to be honest, so I don't really care.
I am too. But
But I still feel it's artificial. Like, take the easy hit. All day, every day. Just take the easy
well,
hit.
yeah.
Just bunt it. Just
I mean,
poke it.
also it's not really going away because they're just gonna put a guy even with second base,
I mean,
and then the we talked about it last week when we talked about the rule change, but the big thing is the nobody on the outfield bigger than the no shift.
yeah.
Because like even if you have three guys on the right side, but none of them can be out in short right, like that's a huge advantage for
I,
the hitter.
I think that'll be the biggest difference maker.
Agreed.
Oh shit! All right. Fuck. Swear to God, the Braves better play good this week. They're not playing very good teams, but they're not winning right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. We'll
Oh.
see, but
Anything else you want to throw out this week?
nope. I think we're good. I mostly just wanted to give Stephen Kwan props since nobody else will.
Oh, come on. He'll get top. Well, no, he won't. He plays for Cleveland. No.
Oh,
If he
he
was doing
won't.
what he's doing in like LA, that'd be something.
Yeah,
Sad. It honestly, it genuinely
it
is
is.
sad. Uh,
Sucks.
but thanks everybody for coming and hanging out, listening to another episode of Bases and Brews. Record this live every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Come by YouTube now and check us out when we record this live, since we're trying the YouTube thing for a bit. So come by, say hi, and we will hopefully see you guys next week for another episode of Bases and Brews.
Later.